and welcome here at a new segment, exclusive segment of Property Queen TV called Taco Talks. And yes, my name is Heidinga, and I'm coming to you especially to share, educate, and help you understand more in what is happening in the property market. And I'm so excited and so honored to be invited by Property Queen TV to do this segment because there's so much to share in the property, right? And today we want to just begin with a very simple topic of what are actually the benefits of investing in real estate. In investing in property, you must be wondering, is property really that good of an investment? Is it really smart to invest in property? Because there's so many different other kinds of investments, right? You can invest in stocks, you can invest in your own business. Hey, these days you can even invest in cryptocurrency, right? There's so many choices out there, and you must be wondering, is real estate still the right way to go? Because real estate is really all about the long-term game. And I know I myself can be sometimes a little bit impatient. We want to make as much money as fast as possible. Am I right? Do you feel me? So let's talk about one thing first about real estate. So does real estate really have a steady income? Let's talk about that first, a steady income. Many people invest in real estate to create either a second income or what we sometimes like to call a passive income. Now, in real estate, there's actually two ways to make money. Two simple ways, right? Number one, by capital appreciation. Very simple. You invest in property today, and over time, value will grow in that property. And if you sell that property 20 years later, 30 years later, the value of the property in normal markets must have grown. You know, if you're in a stable economy, if you're in a stable environment, then that property over time will grow. But it doesn't mean it always grows. And I mean more in a short-term way. You know, if you have a property and you only want to keep it for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, there's no guarantee that in those 4 or 5 years, the value would grow. So capital appreciation is always about the long-term game. The second way you can make money in real estate is very simple. You invest in the property, you rent it out, you deduct all the expenses of that property every month, and whatever is left, that is basically an income. Now, this one you have to be a little bit careful, right? Because many people assume that they will always make money on rental. But it depends a little bit on what you invest in, what type of property you are investing in, but most importantly, how much did you buy the property for? Because if we spend too much money on the property, it can eventually lead to the fact that it's too much of a monthly expense. And you will not be able to rent it out for the money that you want to rent it out. And sometimes people are left with, you know, that they don't make money, or sometimes they go into a minus. They have to actually pay extra every month to keep the property with them. So these are really the two reasons. But does it make a steady income over time? Absolutely. Think about it. You know, if you look at the business, if you will be investing in business or in stocks, you know, 20% of businesses fail in the first year that they go in business. But let's go to 10 years. Look at businesses that have been existing for 10 years. You know how much percent of businesses make it to 10 years? Only 15%. If you look at the global number, only 15% of businesses make it. So is real estate more steady? Absolutely, because real estate is actually long time, you know, more than 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, even 50 years. You buy it, the asset is there, and as long as you maintain it, it will keep growing in value. So that brings me to the topic value over time. Now, value growth is not always guaranteed in properties, especially not on the short term, because we talk about, in real estate, about the property market cycle. That means that property value goes up and down over time. But over the long term, generally speaking, property worth always grows. But it doesn't mean it doesn't come with any dips, because it's very dependent on how the economy is going, how the population is growing, and many, many other factors. So over a long term, it's definitely one of the most safest investments ever. But on the short term, you have to be really careful. When do you go in and when do you step out again? Usually in a good market, you want to go in when prices are low, when there is a lot of inventory available, because then the value is really, really low and it's a good point for you to get in. And eventually the market will flip back up again, and that is the moment that you have to start thinking about, okay, do I want to sell it or do I want to keep it for another cycle? So that is really all about value. But the second value that is also very important is how well do you actually maintain this property? Because this property, of course, needs a little bit of love and care, if you know what I'm saying. Because eventually people will be living in there. So it's very normal that over time you have to make sure that things, just stay fit, that things look great. Because if tenants leave again and new people want to come in, they definitely want to have a good first impression and they want to feel like it's really their home. So keep your property well maintained, because the better you maintain it, the better the value will be there. And the better the value will be there, the longer your value will grow. Another great benefit of real estate and the property market is, of course, that it's an economical driver for any country. It's a big piece of where the economy is dependent on. So there are a lot of players, if you don't realize it, in the real estate market. First of all, we have, of course, the people that have to invest in real estate, because everybody in the world needs real estate. You need a roof on top of you, right? That means that there's a lot of people for own stay, a lot of people that are renting units because they just need a place to live. But it's not only about the residential market, it's also about the commercial market, it's also about the industrial market. It's all these types of properties all come together under the real estate market. Now, who are these players that are benefiting from you investing in real estate? Now, first of all, if you would be investing in real estate, you can call yourself a property owner. You're not immediately a property investor, because an investor is somebody that really goes into market, buys a bunch of properties, starts to rent it out, and really starts benefiting on the income of property. But if you buy one piece of real estate today, you either are buying it for yourself or you're buying it to maybe start out in property investing and find a tenant. Now, a little fair warning here. Again, I always advise anybody out there to be very careful the moment you start investing. Start doing your research and start looking at what is really the best time to buy. Because I experienced many times people simply buy too expensive. And many times it's maybe not the right time to go in yet, but the right time to start researching. Now, you have property owners, but then you of course have the tenants. Especially here in Malaysia, the tenant growth will only keep going and going. Why? Because the population is growing. By the time we reach probably 2025, we will be up in 10 million people in Greater KL. And these people all need a place to stay. So that means we need more inventory and we need more property owners like maybe yourself to start investing in real estate. So do you see how important the benefits are of investing in real estate? And on top of that, it's not only the property owners and the tenants, it's of course also all the property investors, it's the people that kind of refurbish, or the renovators that go into real estate. What do you think about the developers? The developers, do you think that is a big party within the real estate industry? Of course, because they also facilitate for all the construction workers, for all the electricians, for all the plumbers, for everybody that is taking a piece of that of the real estate market. And on top of that, the last part is of course the government. The government, of course, collects certain taxes on top of the real estate that is very important to keep the economy going. So the great benefit is actually that as you are investing, you're also contributing to the economy. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the key benefits of investing in real estate. And we have come to an end of this episode. So what we want to know from you, if you have any questions, because that's why we are doing these episodes, to help you, property investors, property owners, to understand more about the property market. So we will be doing a few of these sessions through Property Queen TV, especially with Taco Talks. So if you have those questions, just send them to us. Thank you very much for watching this time, and see you next time. Bye.